Hey, what's up everyone, Milkshake here. So today in this review, we'll be looking at Algerie. Okay, I'm not sure if I pronounced her name right, and I'm so sorry if I butchered her pronunciation of her name. But regardless, she is currently available in the Skybound Oratorial event and its rerun.
リシア所属第一巡洋艦隊の旗艦五強騎士アルジェリーよ。艦歴では最優の条約型重巡洋艦と言われたようにいくつか面白いエピソードがあるけど指揮官はどう感じるかしら。
Algerie is a super rare heavy cruiser from Vichia Dominion. She's the only ship of her class as of now, and she's voiced by Shizuka Ito, who voiced many other characters like female Byleth in Fire Emblem Three Houses and Schwartz from Ark Knights. In Azur, she also voiced Bogami and the Toriel. Okay, so let's talk about Algerie's design. Okay, I do consider myself a man of culture, so when I saw Algerie for the first time, I was like, bruh, she has everything, like assets, thickness, beautiful long white hair with what I like to call hair drills in the front, beautiful eyes, and high levels of badass. Just look at that gigantic mace and the flame around her. It's so cool. Okay, so I can't be the only one that thinks she looks like Belfast, right? Sure, there are certain differences here and there, but for the most part, they look rather similar. I'm not sure why this is the case, but I'll take it because Algerie is really hot. Like, god damn, even her voice is fantastic. Just listen to this.
お帰りなさいませ、あなた。今日は何から始めるの？何をそう焦っちゃっているの？あら、今日は子供っぽく甘えてほしいの？
Damn, what is that, bro?
She also does have a thing with very cute things like Meowfisses, which is hinted in the animation in the event PV and in one of her voice lines.
猫カフェ巡りは趣味だけど、この母校はそうね。この母校にもめでたくなる子がいっぱいいれば嬉しいわ。うん？
Overall, I do like Algerie's design and she does have amazing waifu qualities. I mean, what's not to love, am I right? Okay, so anyway, let's move on to references. In her self-introduction, she mentions that she is the best designed treaty cruiser. This could be a reference to her having a completely new design instead of being based on previous ships. Some of the new design include replacing the armored caisson system with a full armored belt enclosing both the magazines and machinery spaces, using a superheating boiler and increasing her secondary guns to 100mm guns. In one of her idol lines, she mentions about a story involving gold. This is a reference to her accompanying the French battleship Britannia to Canada with 3,000 cases of French gold.
黄金？あら、指揮官はあの話にご興味が？あの時のアイリスは
In some of her voice lines, she mentions about a restrictive treaty. This could be a reference to either the Washington Naval Treaty or its extension, the London Naval Treaty. These treaties include limiting the design and firepower of ships such as cruisers, so in a sense, breaking the treaties will allow Algerie to reach her true power. She is also the last treaty cruiser of the French Navy, which she mentions in her self-introduction.
このまま一気に枷を壊すのも一興かな？条約とやらの枷はまだきついというの。
Algerie also has a voice line when paired with Zara in the same fleet. This is a reference to Algerie being built and designed in response to the construction of Zara by the Italians.
ようやくチャンスが来たわね。ザラ、少し競争してみない？
In her skills and design, there is a lot of emphasis of burning and fire. This could be a reference to the scuttling of the French fleet in Toulon to prevent the German forces from taking the fleet over. Algerie was one of the ships that was rigged to explode when the Germans arrived, and she burned for 20 days. Alright, so let's talk about Algerie's skills. She has two main skills, and the first is Bellowing Gust of Fire. Increases the ship's damage against burning enemies by 15%. 20 seconds after the battle starts, and with a 70% chance whenever the ship fires its main gun, fires a barrage that has a chance to burn enemies. The damage is based on the skill level and has a 10-second cooldown if activated by firing her main gun. Okay, so this is a really good skill because it complements the use of high explosive. This also complements her firepower stat, which is at the upper spectrum among the heavy cruisers so far. So it seems that on paper, she will be amazing at dealing damage, right? Well, yes and no. You see, the damage boost only happens against burning enemies, which is very specific. So if she doesn't trigger the chance to burn, then this buff won't be applied. What's worse is that there is a low chance of burning for heavy cruiser guns, which is currently at around 8 to 9% depending on the HE ammo. But when it happens, she can deal quite a lot of damage. Okay, her next skill is called Divine Aegis. At the start of the battle and every 30 seconds after that, deploys a shield that lasts 20 seconds and can block up to 5 enemy torpedoes. While this shield is up, increases the ship's firepower by 15% and its damage against DDs and BBs by 12%. 5 seconds after entering manual mode, increases the ship's evasion by 15% and speed by 8. Switching to auto mode will remove this buff. Okay, so this skill is really nice because she can increase the survivability of your fleets by generating a shield at the start of the battle and every 30 seconds after. This shield can also block up to 5 torpedoes, and we all know how painful torpedoes can be. She also gains a damage buff to herself with the shield on, which is really nice. So with this one skill, Algerie not only plays a supportive role, but also improves upon her offensive capabilities. Though I'm not really too excited about the auto and manual play mechanic because it forces you to play Algerie on manual just to receive the buff and increase her survivability even further. Okay, so let's talk about Algerie's skins. She only has one skin as of now and it's called White Sand Paradise. And this skin is just so good. I mean, she already has everything that you want, and this just amplifies upon that by showing more skin. Also, her new lines with this skin is really good.
指揮官をこう砂に埋めて動けなくすれば好き放題にできるわね。冗談だわ。それとも指揮官が私にそうしたいの？
Okay, so one of my thoughts about Algerie, well, she's in a very weird position. Like, she isn't bad, but she's not exceptionally good either. Her skills and stats are really good and they complement each other well, especially her firepower. She also does have the top reload stat in the game as of now. But she is a torpedo heavy cruiser, which is an aspect that her skills doesn't tap into other than her second skill where she deals increased damage against DDs and BBs. Her torpedo stat is also somewhat decent on the upper spectrum, but I'm somewhat confused as to why, for a ship that's so focused on firepower, that her torpedo efficiency is way higher than her main gun and max level. This is in comparison with other super rare heavy cruisers like Prince Heinrich, who despite being a torpedo heavy cruiser, has a main gun efficiency at 160% at max level. This better complements her insane firepower stat and skills that buff her main gun damage. Algerie's health is also not really that high, even though it is somewhat on the upper spectrum among all the heavy cruisers in the game. So if you really want to maximize her survivability, you need to play her on manual, which is really restrictive in terms of playstyle. Though, what is not restrictive is the fact that she is rather universal, because her skills are not faction specific. So regardless of what fleet you want to use, you can still make use of the buff she has to increase her damage output and her supportive capabilities. But she will obviously benefit a lot in a French fleet with Richelieu. Overall, I'd say that Algerie is someone that is good to have, but not game-breaking by any means. The only thing she may break is your dedication to your waifu or your wallet. Alright, so let's talk about Algerie's gear. For main guns, I think HE is the way to go considering how her skills work, so here are some options you can work with. For high damage overall, you can use the 203 BL Mark 9 prototype, but the reload is the longest. For fast reload, you can use the 203 1934 prototype, but if you want the middle ground, the Twin 203 1924 is a good choice. If you lack any of these options, the Atago gun can be used as a transitional gun. So choosing which gun will depend on your availability and your playstyle. Though I would lean more towards the 203 1924, which just so happens to be in the event shop of Skybound Aratorio. For torpedoes, there are a few options that you can work with based on your playstyle. For autoplay, you can use the Queen 533 because of its widespread and it has the fastest reload among the 3 torpedoes here. But if you want to do the most damage, the Queen 533 from Gear Lab is a good choice. But the torpedoes are fired in a straight line. This is not that big of an issue because of the new auto lock-on feature implemented in the previous Upon the Shimmering Blue update. The only downside is that the lock-on range is rather low. So if you want a more consistent performance, the Magnetic Queen 533 is a good option. For manual, you can use the 610 quad as a starting or transitional option because there are better options available, like the 610 Queen from the Upon the Shimmering Blue event, because of its overall higher damage. If you want higher damage per torpedo and a faster reload, you can use the 610 quad kind that can be obtained from Gear Lab. Alright, so here are all my thoughts about Algerie. What do you guys think? Do let me know in the comment section down below. I hope you guys enjoyed this video. Do leave a like if you guys did, subscribe for more awesome content, and I'll see you guys in the next video.
描ききれず乾いたあの頃の夢に閉じ込められた私をその手でそっと溶かして